What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream today. We will be looking at all the latest Arsenal news, including links with Bukayo Saka to Juventus. Also, Arsene Wenger has been defending himself, saying that the last few years of his reign were a lot better than what people actually give him credit for. We'll get into that. We'll look ahead to the Wimbledon game as well, AFC Wimbledon, Carabao Cup tomorrow night at the Emirates. We'll preview that, look at what team we should maybe go with. There'll be a lot of changes for that. And you know what? Just as I've come on here, people, Mikel Arteta is apparently doing his press conference for the Wimbledon game. I had no idea he was doing it today. If I'd have known, I would have maybe delayed the stream a little bit. But we'll try and get into that a little bit towards the end of the stream. I'll try and figure it out while we're on stream. And we'll see what Mick Ross is saying in terms of the waffle settings, man. I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about AFC Wimbledon. Maybe he'll say it's too warm in London. And, yesterday, the day before against Burnley in the press conference, he said the grass was too long and it was too hot. Burnley all of a sudden became the Bahamas. So, we will get into the press conference towards the end of the show. Every day I'm waffling settings. We'll be there, people. Coneman Music. Big up to all of you in the chat. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Oz, yep, I have seen these reports. Ronald Koeman, I think he broke a record yesterday for Barcelona. They put over 50 crosses into the penalty area for Memphis Depay and managed to scrape a 1-1 draw at home to Granada. Half the stadium was empty. There were boos for the manager. And there are reports linking Antonio Conte with a move to Barcelona. Could the Antonio Conte dream of him potentially coming to Arsenal, could that be over? Was it even a reality in the first place? Let's be honest. Was it me just getting my hopes up? And it was never really going to happen anyway. So, he's going to end up at Man United or Barcelona or somewhere like that. 54 crosses. Maybe Koeman's been looking at Mikel Arteta, and he puts about 30 crosses in from Kieran Tierney, but it was shocking. Barca are in a real mess. They're probably one of the only teams, along with Arsenal, that is such a fallen giant at the moment, as well as Juventus, who are really struggling as well. Chris Fraser said Barca were abysmal overall. Ronald Araujo, though, wow, what a player. Yeah, I saw him when we did the watch-along a week or so ago against Bayern Munich, and he was their standout player. They got battered in that game as well, but he was very good. Only 40% crowd is allowed in Spain, fair enough. That explains the empty seats. This ain't another Man City situation. Dom said, I'm happy that Barca are in the mud. Still can't forget that Champions League final. Do you know what? I always said this. Growing up, you tended to like teams in other countries, and you thought, which one is my team in that country? I always preferred Barcelona to Real Madrid, simply because they always had a Brazilian superstar. When I was growing up, they had Romario. They then had R9 Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho. When Arsenal started getting on the foul end of refereeing decisions against them, very quickly, any kind of like I had towards Barcelona disappeared very quickly. We got ripped off in the Champions League final. He sent off Van Persie when he couldn't hear the referee's whistle. They've done a lot of dirt to Arsenal. So, yeah, I don't have too much sympathy for Arsenal. Arsenal plus Barcelona equals Barcelona. Yeah, we're a bit of a mess, that's for certain. And big up to Nick. Big up Mike Howard. Thank you for the super chat. He said, this is going to be Arsenal's first time playing AFC Wimbledon since the old Wimbledon, who became MK Dons back in 2004. Thank you for your stats, Mike. And, yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, obviously, the original Crazy Gang, Wimbledon, Selhurst Park, Vinnie Jones and John Fashanu, those days there, they obviously changed and turned into MK Dons and moved from South London to Milton Keynes. And the fans then started AFC Wimbledon. And fair play to them. They've climbed through the leagues. They had to start in non-league and they're back in the professional ladder. I think they're in League One now, so they've done very well. And obviously, Arsenal, let's make sure we don't mess up against them and just handle business, you know. Yeah, I remember that RVP sending off. Chris said, I didn't know that MK Dons used to be Wimbledon. Good facts there, Mike. Yeah, big up Mike with the facts, man. Vinnie Jones, that maniac. And listen, North London Derby stuff will start from Thursday onwards. I'm going to do a preview, get some guests on. We'll really build up to that game. Let's just handle business tomorrow night first, people, and then we will do the North London Derby build-up. Right, let's get into a couple of stories that are coming out. One story that came out this morning is this one. Do I believe it? Not really. Do I think that clubs are probably watching him? Yeah. Bukayo Saka being linked with Juventus and Atletico Madrid. A bit of a crazy one because on one hand, he's not in the best of form. Let's be totally honest. Saka is not exactly ripping up the place at the moment. But there is a report that Juventus are desperate to bring the age down of their squad, and they have identified Bukayo Saka as a potential target. One of the things with this story that, listen, makes me think there's no way it's going to happen is the fact they're talking about £50 million. Arsenal just paid 50 million for Ben White, or Ben Light, as we was calling him the other day at Burnley. But I do think clubs are starting to look at him, though. I genuinely do. For the simple fact that we're not in a position of strength at the moment. We've seen Arsenal sell players when we were getting Champions League football. Let's face it. We've seen all the Fabregas, all them Van Persies leave Arsenal when we had Champions League. At the moment, we don't even have Europe. So clubs would look at Saka and go, do you know what? We can get a player out of Arsenal quite easily, because if you've got Champions League football, you've got a better team than Arsenal. It may turn a player's head. Zach said Fabrizio Romano said clubs are approaching Saka, and I think they will be. He had a very good Euros, obviously, apart from the ending, which was very sad. But he had a good tournament apart from that. That will have put him on the map in a bigger way throughout Europe, and clubs will be looking at him. He's 20 years of age. He's only just turned 20 this month. He can play left wing, right wing, attacking midfield, left back, lots of options. Do I think Saka would want to go to Italy? Probably not. I think his game is best suited to the Prem. We saw the other day when we spoke about it that Manchester City are apparently looking at him as a potential Riyad Mahrez or Bernardo Silva replacement on that right-hand side. So Arsenal have got to be careful, and I've said this over and over again. It's all right saying we've got this young squad and they're all going to grow together and, we can all grow and they will all peak at the same time. But the reality is there will come a period in time where one or two of our better players will say, I haven't got time to see where this project goes, and I'm going to move on because I've got options. Now, I can see a lot of you in the chat talking about valuations, and I'm not saying for 1 second that any Arsenal fan wants Saka sold. He's 20 years of age. He's just signed a new contract last summer. I don't see Arsenal looking to let him go. But if we ever fell into a situation where Saka was to go, just quickly let me know in the comments, what would you value Bukayo Saka at? Because I've seen some people saying 100 million. I've seen some people saying he's worth no more than 50 in current form. What would you value Saka at? And you've also got to remember, he's come through the youth system, which means, I'm just saying Arsenal have to be careful. If we're not in Europe again next summer and teams are sniffing around Saka and they make decent offers, don't be surprised if the Kroenkes start having an interest in doing business. There aren't too many sellable assets at Arsenal. Miamino said 70 million. Cap said I'd sell Saka for 90 million. I personally don't think we'd get as much as 90 for him. PG said priceless. And Urban said 60 to 70. Frosty, 70 to 80. Liam said 50. Dupe said 85. Bring Zaha in January. Listen, I think the Zaha dreams are long gone. I've wanted Zaha at Arsenal for about 3 years. 20 million, said Anthony. Gunnar 8 said 80 million all day. Value, whatever a club will pay. Hear you on that? Realistic value between 50 and 70. I personally think in this COVID market, with him being a little bit out of form, with the fact Arsenal are not in Europe, I think you'd be looking between 60 and 70 million pounds for him, if I'm honest. I don't think the club would take 50 million for him. I don't think you'd be getting 80 to 100 for him, just for the fact that we're in a position of weakness at the moment. It also goes on to say that Atletico Madrid are looking at him, although their interest is not as strong as apparently what Juventus is. Apparently, Juventus have been looking at him for a few months. So, listen, he's coming up on the map. These clubs are going to look for him. Leon said, "Are you mad, bro? We paid 50 for Ben White." Listen, what we paid for Ben White is not necessarily what Ben White is worth, and I think that's the key thing to bear in mind. For me, Ben White is a 30 to 40 million pound player at an absolute maximum. I think Saka, you'd be looking at 70 million max for him, if I'm totally honest, because the simple fact that he came through the youth system, he didn't cost the club hardly anything. And like we said, he's out of form. Let's be totally honest. Saka didn't finish the season well, and he hasn't started this season well. So his value would drop. But listen, I don't think there's any chance the deal happens for now anyway. But listen, it's something we've got to be aware of if we don't get in Europe next season. Big up Richard Reed. He said, big up Big C. I probably think 60 to 70 now, but needs more time to establish himself over a longer period of time. Let's hope he can turn that form around, you know. Juve are so poor. I mean, I think they're in the bottom 6, aren't they, of the league? Since Ronaldo left, man, they're struggling. Big up Fran in the chat. Hope you're well, my bro. He said, yes, people. 50 million is a bargain for his potential, and his agent is at work. And there you go. You know how the game goes, Fran. His agent will be going, okay, you know what? I've had a phone call from Juventus. Maybe Juventus are not even really that interested in him. But all you do, you go, you know what? We signed that new contract last summer for 70 grand a week. But now, you know, Juventus are sniffing around. Atletico Madrid are interested. We want 100 grand a week now. The same way that Emile Smith-Rowe's agent played Arsenal to get that extra 10, 15, 20 grand on his contract. This is what happens. This is the way the game goes, people. So don't be surprised if his agent starts talking and pushing Arsenal for a new contract. Akash said, I'm going to my first game of the season tomorrow, Curtis. Eager to see Charlie Patino. Yeah, very good young talent. We're going to pick a potential side later on in the show. And listen, enjoy yourself. Like I said, people, there are a lot of tickets available for tomorrow. Tickets are only £11 for adults and £6 for children. So anybody that doesn't get opportunities to go and watch Arsenal games a lot, this will be a good game. I'm sure we'll see goals. I'm sure Arsenal will win. I believe you have to be a member to buy a ticket. So you would have to join as a member before buying the tickets, which is a bit of a shame. As obviously, I think it's about 30 quid to join as a member as well. But yeah, loads of tickets available for anybody that wants to go. Starboy said, going to the game, defo, then the derby. I mean, the derby's massive. Big C, Mick Cross settings. Yeah, listen, I know he's doing his press conference now, so I will try and catch up with that towards the end of the show. I actually didn't realize what time he was doing the press conference today, so we will catch up on that. It's free on MK Don's channel. Is that right? I haven't heard anything about that. If that's true, then that's decent. But yeah, if it is, then at least people have got a way of watching the game. Also in that report as well, goes on to say that Juventus are interested in Alexander Lacazette. There are rumours that Arsenal would be willing to sell Lacazette in January with 6 months left on his contract. They would rather get something for him in January rather than let Lacazette go for nothing at the end of the season. Now, there are reports of 10 million euros, which is about 8.5 million pounds for Lacazette. Is it even worth taking that? You know, do we need him more than we need the 8 million? Would you purely cash in on him? Apparently, Juventus looking to bring in a striker, someone with decent link-up play, and they are looking at Lacazette in January. What would your feelings be on Lacazette going to Juventus in January? Would you just cash in and take a little bit of money, or would you just keep him until the end of the season? Craig said, Curtis, would you play Aubameyang tomorrow? I wouldn't actually, but I would probably have him on the bench. You maybe get him on for a goal and just boost the confidence ahead of the derby. Den Sideline Talk said, general sale, mate, no membership needed. Okay. When I read it, I thought it said that you needed to have a membership, even though they were available for anyone to buy. But listen, if there's no membership, that's even better. So yeah, definitely. Krav said definitely cash in on Lacazette. 10 million euros, poor man, for a guy that we paid 50 million for. Jay Mills said cash in 100%. Fadi said keep Lacquer fret. Yeah, Heneguna, we are not. Yeah, to be fair, what did I say that for? He said it's free on MK Don's channel. Yeah, we are playing Wimbledon. Lacquer to Juventus. MD's not having it. Members get tickets earlier. Oh, so you don't even have to be a member. Is that right? I mean, that would be even better, because it would be silly of them to make it members only, because they're not going to sell out for a game like this. So what's the point holding off purely for members? And yeah, looks like you're right. I'm just checking here, people. Internet adult member. Yeah, I'm not sure. On the website, it does still say membership next to it, but I'm not sure. Maybe you don't have to. Arsene Wenger. Remember him? He's been talking. He's been defending himself. He's not having it, people. And he's saying that he thinks he deserves more credit for what he did in his final few years. And I think he's kind of saying, well, look what's happening to the club now. Am I as bad as you all thought I was? Am I this terrible manager that you all wanted to force out? Arsene Wenger says, my final years at Arsenal were unfairly criticised. Arsene Wenger left Arsenal in 2018 after a 22-year spell in charge, which returned 3 Premier League titles and 7 FA Cups. However, the club failed to mount a serious title challenge after 2006. And he goes on, Uncle Wenger, man, you know what? Maybe he weren't as bad as we thought, Maybe he wasn't as bad as we thought. Things have definitely got worse, but he's defending himself. He did an interview, and I'm just going to read a few bits out of it. And Arsene Wenger says, maybe he watched the Wenger stream. Yeah, for real. Fran said this guy should never be disrespected. 17-18, beautiful football. La Professor. Arsene Wenger believes his final few years have been unfairly criticised as he opens up on his painful exit from the club. That's one thing that definitely I feel was sad about Arsene Wenger. I think in the end, he's such a legend of the football club, but in the end, he was pushed out of the door. It was almost celebrated that he was leaving, which was a real shame that he waited that long to go. Where he should have left sooner, in my opinion, and gone out on a high. You look at Sir Alex Ferguson; he won the title and left. He won he left that club on top, where people felt like Arsene Wenger was pulling the club down. Which was a shame. It was a shame. However, with the club failing to mount a serious title challenge following the move to the Emirates, calls of Wenger out from the fans had become a common occurrence in his final few seasons. He goes on to say, this interview was ahead of the North London derby. Arsene Wenger admitted in his recent autobiography that leaving the Gunners was a very lonely, very painful separation, but remains adamant every decision he made was in Arsenal's best interest. Now, this is where I have I'm a little bit indifferent with Arsene Wenger. While I find it very sad that he's saying very lonely, very painful, I don't think he can say every decision he made was in Arsenal's best interest. He made decisions that were for the benefit of Arsenal, the business, and Arsene Wenger, the manager. Arsene Wenger, there were rumours that, was it 2015? There was a time anyway where they said Arsene Wenger could have left and we could have potentially got Pep Guardiola, and he signed another contract. I think he found it very difficult to let go of Arsenal. He always felt like he could turn things around at the club. And maybe at the time he felt they were, for the best of the club. But, 40 million and £1, Luis Suarez and things like that. But when you look at Arsene Wenger, this is the graph of his 22 years, He all those years in the top four, these years it was basically first and second, from when he took over. All these fourths and third, we got the second, the Leicester year, and then the plummet happens, Wenger leaves here after finishing sixth, fifth under Unai Emery, and then the Mikel Arteta effect, mate. Back-to-back eighth places. And it's amazing, isn't it? Zeke said Wenger became arrogant. We all saw we needed a DM, but he refused to buy one. He made so many decisions that at the time he probably thought were right, but affected us in a bad way. Wouldn't pay the agent fee for N'Golo Kante, offered 40 million and a pound for Luis Suarez, sold Robin van Persie to Manchester United. These kind of decisions are the ones, unfortunately, that taint his legacy at the football club. Listen, let's get one thing clear. Arsene Wenger, in my opinion, is an Arsenal legend. I do think eventually he'll get a statue, and I respect him highly. And this graph tells a very damning story. 22 years at the club, 21 years, 21 years in the top four. And then obviously he drops out of the top four at the end. So maybe he feels, was Unai Emery hard done by? I think Unai Emery could sit there and say, do you know what? I came in after you'd finished sixth. I finished fifth. Should have got top four. We blew it. Europa League final, I blame the players. But you look at the backing he got compared to Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta got 150 in this transfer window, and he wasn't even being given the players that he wanted. So, yeah, we wish for top six now. You're right. We'd love to be in Europe right now, but unfortunately we're not. When we go through this, Arsene Wenger said, speaking to the Telegraph, I think people are quite harsh about the last years at the football club. He said, in 2016, we finished second in the league. Leicester won, but other teams were behind Leicester as well. And Leicester only lost 3 games. In 2017, we did not qualify for the top four for the first time in 20 years, but we got 75 points. I mean, he's talking facts, but I think every Arsenal fan, I don't know what you guys think, would look at it and say, the Leicester title should have been Arsenal's title. We should have won the title in 2015-16, was it? We beat Leicester home and away that season. He says it himself. Leicester only lost 3 games that season. 2 of them were against Arsenal. I was at that game. Danny Welbeck, last-minute header. Mesut Ozil. Valentine's Day it was. Ozil whips it in. Welbeck, the stadium erupted that day. Honestly, that is one of the loudest celebrations I've ever heard in the Emirates. And we all left the Emirates that day saying, we are going to win the Premier League this season. Leicester will not be able to keep that form going. We're going to win the title. That's what we all said when we left the stadium. I'm telling you now. And then Olivier Giroud did a disappearing act and went 15 games without scoring and ruined Mesut Ozil's assist record that season. And again, Arsene Wenger could have signed a striker in January, and he didn't. He kept faith with Giroud, and we blew the title that season. So these are where the frustrations are. Brandon said that was rocking. Honestly, that goal was like little flick header, but it was epic. I honestly, that day, I left the ground. I remember leaving the ground, and I said, we are going to win the title. Leicester were the only team that looked like winning it. We'd beaten them away. I think we beat them 5-2 away. Alexis Sanchez in the gold kit. We beat them at home last minute. I said, that's it. Titles happening. We needed Suarez that year. Would have won us the title. He says, people don't realise we won the FA Cup against Chelsea, who had just won the Championship and had the chance of winning the double. I mean, do you know what? These are those little patronising comments from Wenger that I hear in Mikel Arteta a little bit. People don't realise that Chelsea had won the title that year. I mean, awesome. We watch football, my friend. We understand that Chelsea had won the league that year and that we beat them in the FA Cup, but we wanted success in the league as well. So I understand his point. Could have signed Suarez the year before or Higuain. Do you know what I mean? Higuain, I remember being on holiday and I was actually in Barcelona and that gold kit was epic, Alexis Sanchez. I remember being in Barcelona and I remember reading a newspaper over there and it was saying that Higuain was signing for Arsenal. Apparently, his brother was his agent. He'd met Arsene Wenger in Paris and they'd done the deal. He was signing for Arsenal from Real Madrid. And Cavani had left Napoli to go to PSG. And Cavani was a similar age to Higuain, and his price was a lot more. So Real Madrid decided to up the price. I think they upped the price by about 10 million. And Arsene Wenger decided to walk away from the deal. He didn't see it as good value. Higuain then goes to Napoli and starts ripping up the place. And again, it's another missed opportunity. FA Cup over the title. Come on, Wenger. Exactly. You know, Emery was given 140, but let's be honest, he was given players he didn't want. He didn't want Pepe. Pepe's a right winger. He wanted Wilfried Zaha, a better dribbler, more aggressive left winger. So you're not getting the tools you want. He asked for Fabinho. He didn't get him. He asked for Thomas Partey. He didn't get him. So yeah, they spent 140. They weren't the players that he wanted, which is always difficult when you're given tools that you don't want. If you need to hammer a nail into a wall and, you know, somebody gives you, I don't know, some sellotape, it ain't going to work, is it? You know, you need something better than that. But yeah, listen, we know Emery failed in the second season ultimately. South London's finest said Higuain was a gunman them times. Brav, his goal record at Napoli. We needed Higuain in that team. Giroud was good, but not good enough. And he wanted the fridge, you're right. He said he wanted a dominant centre-half. He inquired. And I believe he even made an offer for Harry Maguire. Clearly, he wanted a dominant centre-half, a dominant CDM, and a winger that could dribble. And don't forget, this guy got 35 million for Alex Iwobi. That was good business. Wenger, listen, it's always sad when you see Wenger because, you know, he's that fallen legend, isn't he, that we all wish it would have worked out. He said, and after, in 2018, we lost the League Cup final against Manchester City. That was a pathetic game as well. We lost in the semi-final of the Europa League against Atletico Madrid by just one goal. But look, I gave the best years of my career to develop what I think is important, the stadium, and pay it back, put the club in a position where it was capable of facing the future and had the potential to do well. What I will say, and I will give him some credit. I don't want this to sound like I'm hammering Uncle Wenger. You know, we all love Arsene Wenger, even though there's a lot of frustration with what happened. I do think that year we would have won the Europa League. We were incredibly unlucky that third place rule came into play, and amazingly, Atletico Madrid ended up finishing third in their Champions League group and came into the Europa League. And I remember that summer, or was it the January, I think they'd signed Diego Costa. And obviously they had an informed Griezmann as well. And we just couldn't live with them over the two legs. We actually should have beat them in that home leg. I went to that game as well. You know, Oblak, probably one of the best goalkeeping performances I've ever seen at the Emirates. He turned into Spider-Man. It was up there with that David De Gea performance where he made like 25 saves. And we blew that game. Koscielny's mistake, and it was over. So, yeah, I do think we would have beaten Marseille in the final that year and won that Europa League. But it didn't happen. In terms of the stadium and everything like that, where I will slightly defend him, I know a lot of people say that, you know, he left us in a bad position, but you've got to look at it, right? Unai Emery, in 2 transfer windows, spent about £170 million. The first transfer window was horrible. You know, Leno, Torreira, Lichtsteiner, players like that. It was not a good window. Socrates. The second one, they signed the likes of David Luiz. I think they got Martinelli, Pepe, Kieran Tierney. They spent about 170 million in those 2 summer transfer windows. Mikel Arteta has now spent about 225 million. So you're looking at the club have spent 400 million pounds since Arsene Wenger left. So in all fairness, I think it's very difficult to start saying that what's happening now is a massive part of what Arsene Wenger left behind. I think we've spent enough money to have got out of that situation and got rid of all the Arsene Wenger players, turn the mentality around. And this is why I say, for me, one of the biggest problems at Arsenal Football Club is the manager. The manager can make the difference. Look at Chelsea under Lampard to Thomas Tuchel. They were 8th, 7th, 8th in the Premier League under Lampard, going nowhere. Tuchel comes in because that mentality, because that switched on coaching, they win the Champions League. They're now title favourites. Don't get me wrong. They spent huge money on players. Their players are a much higher standard. But Arsenal should have got out of this mess by now. Jermaine, I'm not criticising Arsene Wenger much for what is happening now. I criticise him for things that happened while he was at the football club. Arsenal should have signed Luis Suarez. Offer 45, 50 million, you get Luis Suarez. Offer 40 million and £1, which is an embarrassing offer, you're not going to get him. Get Gonzalo Higuain from Real Madrid, but you don't get him. You stick by Olivier Giroud year after year. You sign Welbeck. You sign Lucas Perez. You sign Lucas Podolski. All these strikers that weren't good enough because you were looking for the cheap option, where you could have won the title with a top quality striker if you'd have signed Higuain, Suarez. You know, these are the decisions where I criticize him. Signing Granit Xhaka ahead of N'Golo Kante because you wouldn't pay the agent fee. Those decisions have to be criticized. Selling Robin van Persie to Manchester United is one of the worst. One of the most painful things we've ever probably experienced as Arsenal fans, you know, selling our best player to our biggest rivals. Like Akeem, big up Akeem, my bro. He said, buy an expensive manager and be able to spend less in the long run on your squad once built. Owners have no clue. I said this so many times, bro. People tell me, oh, we can't afford Antonio Conte on £15 million a season, which is 300 grand a week. We were paying Willian 200 grand a week. I think most people in the chat would have rather given up, let's say, Willian and Hector Bellerin. There's your 300 grand a week. If I said to every Arsenal fan in this chat, if you give up Willian and Hector Bellerin, you can afford Antonio Conte, you would do that. Every Arsenal fan in the chat would do that. Okay, he's going to want money to spend as well, but we've just given Mikel Arteta £150 million to spend. I think if you said to Conte in the summer, there's your 15 million a season, there's your staff members, there's 150 million to spend first window, I think Antonio Conte probably takes that. I think he takes that situation in the summer. Now, you can't get Antonio Conte because if Arteta gets sacked in November, December, something like that, you're bringing him into such a bad situation that we're already in the season. We've spent our money this season. There ain't a transfer window till January, which is a difficult window to strengthen anyway. And you're asking him to save the club from difficulty where you could have given him the job with a clean slate, start of the season. There's your 150 to spend. Go and get established players and get to work. But instead, they're ploughing money into the team year after year, 100 million, 80 million, 150. And we sit here every summer and go, are we any better? Are we any better? Are we any better this season than we were last season? And I don't think we're really sure whether we are. Yet we spent 150 million. Last summer, we spent 85 million. Were we any better than the year before? No, not really. So this is where it's difficult with Arsenal, where I just think, I look at that Liverpool model. Liverpool are bouncing around season after season, you know, managers like Roy Hodgson and signing these run-of-the-mill players, Konchesky and all those players. They then got Brendan Rodgers. They had a bit of an upturn in fortune because they got in, you know, a Sturridge, a Coutinho, a Suarez. But what was the missing element for Liverpool Football Club? It was the manager. Liverpool don't have great owners either. Look at them. They don't spend big money, similar to Arsenal. In fact, we spend more than Liverpool. If you look at the transfer window, what turned everything around at Liverpool Football Club was Jurgen Klopp. They brought in a giant of a manager, and they knew that that was the thing that could turn them around. If Liverpool had this team with a bang average manager in charge, they probably never win that Champions League and never win that Premier League. The manager has made the difference. And Michael Edwards, like you said, Lumi, Michael Edwards is a genius in the transfer market, which we don't have. We've got Edu, a glorified travel agent, you know. KKV, thank you very much for becoming a member on the channel. Really appreciate that. And there will be member streams coming up. Jermaine, thank you for your super chat. Said, are those things Wenger or Gazidis, though, Big C? I don't always agree, but at least you keep it real and balanced, bro. Respect. Yeah, listen, it is Gazidis / Wenger, but they were in tandem. A lot of the stuff they did was together. And Arsene Wenger had so much power at the football club that, you have to say that when the club are going, right, Arsene, we're going to offer 40 million and £1 for Luis Suarez. Surely him as a football man, he has to be saying, no, you can't do that. Liverpool are a big, big football club. We may have to deal with them in the future. That's going to rub them up the wrong way. Plus, they're not going to sell Luis Suarez for 40 million and £1 because that looks embarrassing to everybody if that deal happens. So he has to put his foot down there and say, I don't agree with that. That shouldn't happen. Now, Arsene Wenger did an interview a few weeks ago where he stated that he thought that 40 million and £1 offer was going to get Luis Suarez. He was basically saying that he was supporting that offer. So this is where my issues are with Arsene Wenger. Sorry to harp on about the past, but sometimes to know where we're going, we've got to know where we've been before. And listen, this interview has just come out as well with Arsene Wenger, so it was important to discuss it and the things that had happened before. But listen, my overall thing with Arsene Wenger, as I've always said, is a legend, but there are a lot of grey patches in his latter years and a lot of mistakes that he made, unfortunately. Hendon Guna said Wenger interviewed Gazidis for the role. Gazidis was Wenger's. Well, listen, man. Imagine Wenger interviewed him for a role that he was supposed to be higher than Arsene Wenger in a sense. Wenger was supposed to answer or discuss things with Ivan Gazidis, but Wenger interviewed him for his job. If I interview you for your job and you come in, you think you can tell me anything. I gave you that job. I made you. You can't tell me nothing. I run this, even if it looks like your title is higher than mine. So, it's crazy, isn't it? Hugh said, big up Curtis, Juventus can pee off. They've somehow managed even less points than us. Ha, Saka Aguna through and through. Let's hope so. Big up Polymation, hope you're well. Said Wenger is too clever for his own good. It's almost the genius thing. They say it with Pep, don't they? Overthinks at times. They're almost too clever for their own good. Yeadon said we could have won the league multiple times, but he screwed up 100%. Arsene Wenger was giving too many excuses, moving like Arteta. Pundit said Wenger was great from 97 to 2007. After that, all downhill. Steve J said, Curtis, we was never getting Suarez. They put in a bid knowing it will be rejected to appease the fans. And we often felt like that. It wasn't serious, Remember when we offered 90 million for Thomas Lemar on deadline day? It's like, come on, are we being serious here or what? But hey, let's move on. No more Arsene Wenger chat. That was very close to becoming the Arsene Wenger part 2 of the Arsene Wenger stream. There's so much that you can discuss when Arsene Wenger's name comes up, and still a lot of frustrations from the way that he left the football club. But like I said, one thing I will say, and as I've just said, the club have spent £400 million since he left. We should have been able to get ourselves out of any situation that Arsene Wenger left us in. When you spend £400 million, you've had enough time to get out of the mess that you're in. So I think the club have to take responsibility there for their poor recruitment. Manchester United fan base says top content. Big up Curtis from a Manchester United fan. Thank you very much. It was tactful discussion though. Yeah, listen, you know me. I'm not going to be disrespectful to Arsene Wenger, but I will speak the truth. And sometimes people who are massive fans of him won't like it because, there are a lot of people who love Arsene Wenger. And I kind of feel like there was two sides to his time period at the football club. We could do streams on streams about Arsene Wenger. That's how crazy it is. Let's look ahead to the game tomorrow. Glamour tie, people. AFC Wimbledon at home in the third round of the Carabao Cup. At least we're in the third round now because we actually came in at the second round for the first time, I believe, in our Premier League history. Usually we come in the third round, but because we finished so low in the league, we had to come in the second round this time and obviously play against West Brom. So we play AFC Wimbledon tomorrow. Make sure you smash the likes as well. Over 1,300 of you in here. And subscribe to the channel, people. And we're going to pick the team. I want your opinions. Give me your opinions. Who you would like to see play and in what positions, people. I've got it ready as a 4-2-3-1 / 4-3-3. What we played against who do we play at the weekend? Burnley in the Bahamas, according to our manager, who said it was too hot in Burnley. Big up Troy with the super chat. He said the protected need to be protected from the unprotected by forcing the unprotected to use protection that didn't protect the protected. Are we talking about football here or what? I don't know what's going off, but yeah, I hear you. Big up Troy. Let's pick the team, people. Let's pick the team. In goal, Arsenal's number 2 goalkeeper. Who would have thought it, eh? Bernd Leno. He needs minutes. I think you save Aaron Ramsdale for the North London derby. And yeah, Leno, give him some minutes. And this kind of lets him know that he's number 2 at the football club. I think it's realistic. I think it's where he's at right now. And I think he has to accept it. Would anybody play Ramsdale? Let me know. Would some of you keep Ramsdale in goal and just keep him going? Me personally, I would play Leno for this game. Save Ramsdale for the weekend. Sounds like an Arteta quote. Yeah, you could imagine hearing that in waffle settings for real. Wimbledon masterclass incoming. I think we'll be good against them, man. At the Emirates should be a comfortable win. Definitely should be on our carpet pitch. We should be able to turn them over fairly easily. Evan said, I want to see Martinelli. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, we definitely need to see Martinelli playing. Most of you saying Leno in goal. A few of you saying, yeah, he's the number 2, man. Leno better than Ramsdale, said Sidon. I think most people now have changed their mind on that one. Leno is now the number 2. Goatsdale is for Sunday. Yeah, we save Goatsdale for Sunday. Leno in goal. Left back, Mr. Doggy Dog. Let's get him in. I think this guy has got a chance of actually pushing him out the team in terms of your boy Kieran Tierney, who's constantly getting injured. Nuno Tavares at left back. I actually think this guy is a bit of a beast in terms of physical and athletic attributes. It's just how good is he defensively? You know, we haven't really seen him tested yet. But yeah, Nuno Tavares at left back, the big man, show us his pedigree and show us what he's about, man. And listen, this won't be a big test for him. And he should be able to handle business in terms of this game. I think most of you would agree with Tavares, right? Left back. We don't want to see Kolasinac. And obviously, we don't want to play Kieran Tierney because his ankle will probably just melt as well. This is a bit of a dilemma, is right back and the 2 centre backs. Because obviously, there's a few options. I would go with Cedric, to be honest. I would go with Cedric. I'm trying to rest, you know, your Tommy Asus and people like that for the weekend. I suppose you could play Ainsley, you could play Cedric, you could play Chambers. I would go with Cedric. I do think he's probably a second choice right back at the moment. Maybe Ainsley, but Ainsley seems to play midfield at the moment. So I'm going to probably play Ainsley in midfield. I would go Cedric. What would you go for, people? Chambers, he should be sold in January. I get the impression Chambers could go maybe in the summer. Hasn't extended his contract. I think he's looked poor at right back, and at centre back against Manchester City, he was dreadful. So some of you going for other people. We do have to be careful with injuries. You know, this is a League One side. They're going to have a lot to prove. They may be physical. They may make life difficult. So I will go with Cedric. I really don't like Callum Chambers. He's a player I would move on. With the centre-backs, again, for me, Gabriel and Ben White, I would rest them. Keep them both for the derby. And you got these 2 out of 3, really. Do you go with Pablo Mari, Callum Chambers, or Rob Holding? They're all pretty poor. You know, they're all the Chuckle brothers, really. You could pick any 2 out of a bag. It's all going to be pretty poor. I'm going to go for Pablo Mari as the left centre-back. We haven't seen him since Lukaku destroyed him against Arsenal. This should be a game for. I mean, look, his face has disappeared on the thing. That's what Lukaku did to him, to be fair. But I'll bring Pablo Mari back. There has to be a point where he tries to recover from the nightmare that he had, and this should be a game that he can deal with. And I'll go with Rob Holding next to him. Rob Holding's hair's growing back. Maybe he's a new player. You know, the hair transplant. Maybe it's added some stats to his game as well. So we go with Pablo Mari and I said Pablo Mary Poppins and Rob Holdini. They still feel he has no value, so they're not even adding a picture to him. I have to admit, Holding, Pablo Mari, and Chambers are all pretty much, they're all sort of the same thing for me. I have no confidence whichever one plays out of those, but I'll go with Pablo Mari and Rob Holding in there. Bob Boldness, man. I'm telling you, hey, his hair's growing back, man. He had the good transplant in the summer. Brennaziras Guna said maybe he'll be able to outjump Sterling now with the new hairline. Exactly. He's got that extra bit of hair on top now. And maybe he can do bits. Let's go into the midfield. Now, the one thing I was thinking, because obviously this Patino, Charlie Patino, I actually want to put him in the team for this game. Is he a centre midfielder or an attacking midfielder, people? Because I always had the impression he was kind of an attacking midfielder who drifted forward. So would he play in front of the midfield too? For any of you who've seen him play a little bit more, let me know what his best position is. One of the centre mids for me will be Ainsley Maitland-Niles. We definitely play Ainsley in there. He's an out-and-out centre mid, but more of a number 8. I actually would start him. Granit Xhaka is suspended, Polymation. He's not allowed to play. This game will make him available for the weekend against Spurs, which for me is probably bad news, to be honest. He's a centre mid, but he can progress the ball. He's a proper centre mid, plays from deep. Arteta will play him false nine. Everyone's saying he's an out-and-out centre mid. Now, some of you are saying Sambi Lokonga. The only thing is, for me, do you save Sambi Lokonga for Sunday, which I would play Lokonga and Thomas Partey in the 2? So this is an interesting one. Where would you play Patino in this role? Would you play him next to Maitland-Niles, or would you play him in front? I suppose, really, do you know what? The best way to do it is just change it to a 4-3-3 and then just give him the freedom to we'll just have him in the 3. So we'll just play a midfield 3 and then he'll just be one of the 3. Would that make more sense? And go over 3-man midfield? You can see I haven't planned this at all, people. This is straight off the cuff, this freestyle settings. And then, is he even on this app, by the way? He might not even be on the app. I haven't even checked. Nah, the app hasn't even got him. They haven't even got him. So we're just going to have to freestyle this one. Troy said, second daily umbrellas won't work in the rain unless everyone has one. Third, sunscreen doesn't work unless everyone uses it. Yo, Troy, I don't know. Troy's putting all sorts of things in the chat today. Big up Troy with the super chat, man. He's trying to get us all thinking. But yeah, so Patino, unfortunately, I can't get him in there. So do we go with ESR? Let's see what your suggestions are in here. Would you play Sambi Lokonga? I would rest him. Oh, El Neni. See, this is why I need you. All right, yeah, we squeeze El Neni in because I don't want to risk Sambi Lokonga getting injured. This centre mid position here would be Patino. Unfortunately, he's not on the game, so I can't get him up. So I'll go Ainsley, Patino, and El Neni. And we go into the front 3. This is a tricky one as well because this could be. We got to play Martinelli on the left. Actually, we got to get Martinelli some game time on the left. I would have played him through the middle, but the thing is, we've got Balogun and Lacazette. Ideally, I would have probably liked to have played both of them in this game. But then who do you play on the right? It's a bit harsh. Do you play Balogun off the right and bring him in? All right, what I'm going to do, it's a bit harsh on Balogun, but I'm going to chuck Balogun on the right. We don't have many wingers, to be honest, and I wouldn't want to play Saka or Pepe in this game. Play him on the right, but you give him the freedom to drift in. I think that would work because I do think that Lacazette needs game time. I don't see who we could play on the right-hand side. Who would we play? I would not want to risk. I mean, you saying play Pepe. I don't think I would want to play Pepe. Saka, but Saka looks like I get what you're saying, but does Saka need a break? Does Saka need an actual break and not to play? Maybe we go 4-4-2. That's a good point. But then, could we play Patino? But then Patino, can he play right? I think that's not a bad team. I think that would do the job. As I said, people, the spare place in centre midfield would be Patino, but then I haven't put him in there. Maybe we could play ESR out wide because I would actually not play ESR against Tottenham at the weekend. Jermaine said I'd play Lacazette and Pepe personally. I just wouldn't risk Pepe. I wouldn't risk anybody in this game. It's a League One side. Yeah, I believe Eddie is back in training, actually. It's a tricky one. Maybe we could play another young player. Maybe we could play Smith Rowe. But then I'm dropping Balogun. What if we played 4-4-2? But then Patino doesn't start. That's the only thing. See, it's not easy picking teams, is it? Could do a 4-4-2 and play Balogun and Lacazette up front in a 2. And then play Martinelli and Smith Rowe out wide with Ainsley in the middle. That might work better. What would you guys do? Let me know in the comments. Martinelli for the North London derby. I mean, I would like it, but I don't think it's going to happen. He will play Saka. Martinelli, Lacazette, ESR. It would make more sense. I just feel like I want Balogun in the team somewhere. All right, what we do? 4-2-3-1, Lacazette at 10. That could work. We could play Lacazette in the 10 with Balogun up front and ESR and Martinelli out wide with El Neni and Ainsley in the middle, or Ainsley and Patino in the middle. We could do that. I think Patino will be on the bench. I got to be honest. I don't think he's going to start, although I could be wrong. But yeah, you get the general idea, people. Maybe we go 4-4-2. Maybe 4-4-2. And play ESR on the right would make more sense with Martinelli on the left, Balogun and Lacazette up front. But either way, we've got plenty of good options there. Alfred with the super chat said Pepe and rest him against Tottenham. We can play Saka on the right for the derby. Pepe is too comfy, and the thing is, his spot is locked in. He needs a reality check. A lot of people getting on to Pepe at the moment. I appreciate the super chat, Alfred. A lot of people saying maybe you play Martinelli against Tottenham as well. I personally think Pepe will continue and will play against Spurs. I've got to be totally honest. Let's have a look. Team news for Arsenal. They've just put out some team news. El Neni's left hamstring is recovering well from a hamstring strain and will be assessed ahead of the match. Now, that might change everything that I've just done. If he's just come back from a hamstring injury, maybe they won't risk him from the start, El Neni. So maybe they will go Patino and Maitland-Niles in midfield. It wouldn't surprise me if Sambi Lokonga plays this game and he goes with Granit Xhaka in the North London derby. Don't be surprised if Mikel Arteta does that, I'm telling you. I would probably go 4-4-2, go Smith Rowe, Martinelli out wide, Lacazette and Balogun up front, and go Ainsley and Patino centre mid. There you go. That's what I would have actually gone for. No love for Eddie. Eddie don't get in the team for me, I'm afraid. Keep him on the bench. Bring him on. Jermaine said Pepe, my favourite current player, to be honest. It's a shame he gets stick. I think maybe he's just got to do a little bit more. If he does more, he doesn't get the stick. If Granit Xhaka finds his way back into the Arsenal team against Tottenham, then honestly, there's something seriously wrong. He should not get anywhere near the team. in that game. Apparently, Arsenal have sold nearly 45,000 tickets for the game against Wimbledon. So there's about 15,000 tickets left, which is, credit to the fan base. They're turning out, supporting the team in numbers, man. And they can never criticize the fans of not supporting the players, man. 45,000 for a game against Wimbledon. Xhaka red card v Spurs. You could see it happening. He's given away penalties before. If he starts, honestly, I am going to be going crazy on Sunday. If he starts, it has to be Sambi next to Thomas Partey. I'm going to try and get up this Mikel Arteta press conference. Unfortunately, they don't have it up on the Arsenal website yet, but they do have it on Football London. So we'll get it up on there. And we'll quickly go through that now. So it's that time. I think it's time, people. The picture. Let me get the picture ready. You know what time it is? Micross settings, press conference settings. Let me get the picture ready. Polymation with the credit. And it's that time. I didn't even expect to be doing this today, but we're here again. Micross settings is back. And it's here he is. Every day I'm waffling. Go get your drink, go get your syrup, and get ready for some more waffle from him, people. It's here, Mickey Rose in the building. Let's hear what wonderful analogies he's got this week. Against Burnley, he blamed the long pitch, and he blamed the heat of Burnley. I never realised. All this summer I've been like, couldn't go abroad because of all these restrictions and travelling. Who'd have known all along I could have gone to Burnley because it's so hot up there that we can't even play football up there, apparently. Coleman music. It never gets boring, people. Get the drink. Get yourself ready. As Fabrizio Romano would say, here we go. Let's hear every word from the Mikel Arteta press conference. So we'll do a share screen again. It's on the Football London website. They haven't actually put it on the Arsenal website yet. But he was asked on leadership in the team. He said, I think we are building some leadership in the group. It's a really young group with lots of players under 23. Martin is the captain of the national team and Sambi was captain at Anderlecht. Martin has this capacity to do that with his talent, taking the ball in moments where others probably refuse to. But as well with his attitude, his rhythm and the way he presses and puts people under pressure. So he's bigging up Martin Odegaard there. He goes on to say, I said blah, blah, blah. On Odegaard not shirking defensive responsibilities, again, absolutely awful question. Like, he's probably the first to do it, those defensive responsibilities. I was really impressed with Aubameyang as well. Oh, what's going on here? Here they go with adverts. Get this out of here. I need to get ad blocker on here, don't I? He said, I was really impressed with Aubameyang as well. I think his rhythm and high pressing was fantastic. It was a real commitment and purpose because you can go and try and win the ball or press, but you can tell when you are not really doing it or when you've been told to do it. There was a really big meaning behind it. When you go to places like that, when you are having difficult moments and you start to get results, I think you have to go to those basics, and having every single player do that. I think they were superb, lifted the momentum, took us to a different level. I mean, calm down. I'm happy with the victory. We went to Burnley and we won the game 1-0. It's pleasing. It's a difficult place to go. We kept a clean sheet, scored a great free kick. But I think you need to relax when you talk about we went to a different level. I'm not quite sure we went to a different level. It was a pretty standard performance that we won with a quality free kick. So when he says we went to a different level, I need him to explain to me what level that is because I don't really know what level that is. A 1-0 victory against Burnley where you're going to start jumping around and celebrating right now. I'm not hammering him here, but he needs to relax, Chris said we went from the lower basement to the basement. You know what I'm saying? Like, he needs to calm down with all this, man. Pundit said, I'm selling my ticket if Kolasinac isn't in the starting lineup. From beginner to amateur on FIFA. Yeah, exactly. Different level, I think Curtis can't see the light that Arteta is seeing. I told you, I'm a long way from seeing it. But, Yeah, apparently we went to a different level against Burnley. Well done, Mikel, mate. On defending from the front, again, another just awful question. Like every team in the world defends from the front, man. Why are you even asking him that question? It's the palm trees. Absolutely. It's the whole unit that has to be compact. Everybody has to stay compact at all times. The only way to do it is when the ball is moving, that everybody is moving. If somebody starts to work, if the distances get split and the unit starts to break, there is nothing. There is a lot of coaching now going on around the team. Young players are starting to talk and communicate, and that facilitates a lot of things in the defensive phase. I mean, if anybody struggles to get to sleep, right, just come and listen to this waffle, mate. You will be asleep in no time. He just goes on and on. Jashar said, big up Curtis, get a Tory to provide interpretation. Curtis can only see the LED light. This guy don't off waffle, honestly. I've never heard anything like it. On the bond between the players and the supporters. Are they ever going to ask him a difficult question? It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, that's why I mentioned it, because I felt it. I felt there was some connection building. I think they realize what they have done, and the players have to show that appreciation and gratitude like they did. That only brings more cohesion, more connection, more relationships, closer relationships, and that will strengthen the team for sure. Dear, just stop this guy, please. This guy's out of control. On ticket sales for the cup game, I mean, is this the riveting press conference that we're all meant to tune in for? Mikel, what do you think about the ticket sales for the game? I think it's great. And the fans, I love the fact they're back in the team. It's not rocket science. Please, come on. I'm really happy to hear the ticket sales are positive for the Wimbledon game. Currently at approximately 48,000, because the boys are really looking forward to playing at the Emirates again in the Cup. Winning the game is the only priority right now. We can think about Spurs and how special that is as well. I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm full, mate. I mean, how much waffle can you give out in one press conference? The questions are horrendous. Oh, thumbs up, friend. Oh, yeah. Oh, we went to a new level. We beat relax, Mikel, mate. If we beat Tottenham, I don't know. He's going to be in tears, mate, in the press conference. Is there more? On the importance of momentum. Please, man, just stop. I mean, it's the most pointless question ever. Like, yeah, absolutely. And after a difficult start we had in many different aspects, when you start to win 2 games, you can win the 3rd one. I mean, yeah, you can get more momentum, more confidence. Everybody's back, and then you start to create a different feeling. Dear me. Awful question. On Wimbledon being involved in lots of goals this season, I hope that we can expect goals from our side, but it's true that they've been really open games with high scores. They are really direct, physical, but at the same time, they have a big goal threat in many situations, so it will be a tough opponent. I want to remind everyone that Wimbledon are 7th in League One. I don't think we should... Listen, we can't write them off, obviously. We can't just be disrespectful and come in an interview and say we're going to slap them up, but come on, man. Are we saying that we're fearful of AFC Wimbledon now? Like, let's relax. I know he's taking the diplomatic approach, which I get, but why are they trying to build it up like we should be fearful of AFC Wimbledon, man? It's crazy. Are there any more questions left on how to approach the game? Oh my God. What is the actual point of a press conference? Like, he's going to try and win the game, isn't he? Like, that's what I would imagine. I think the questions are as bad as the answers in this. Focus. Demand the highest standards. Prepare the same way or even better. Make the players understand that if somebody wants to play and is seeking an opportunity, it's great that you're doing the right things in training and your behavior is good. This is an opportunity to show us as well that you deserve to play. Make it difficult for us in team selection. Those games are like any other, and an opportunity. I'm not going to carry on. It's too much. It's too much. Is there any more questions? It can't be much more. We're done. Look, Fiat. There's more. On giving players minutes. He He said, absolutely, and you have to praise that for sure. Let's see who's available, how they recover, and what is the best way to approach the game. Is that it? That's it, people. That is it. Absolutely. I think that fiat was the best thing in the whole press conference. Oh, my dear. I don't know what's worse, the question or the answer. The syrup, or they give him the syrup and he provides the waffle. More waffle than bird's eye, this guy. Honestly. Absolutely. The questions. How are you going to approach the game, Mikel? Well, I'm going to try and win it because that's my job as the manager. That's how I would answer them questions just for banter. I'd be like, well, I'm going to approach it to try and win. Next question. What else? You know, the questions are embarrassing. Oh man, anyone struggling for sleep, man, just listen to that. You'll be sleeping in no time. It's so boring listening to that absolute waffle. Terrible questions. He needs to go. The mighty AFC Wimbledon. Oh, what about Wimbledon and all the goals they've scored this season? Are you are you fearful of Wimbledon? If we beat Wimbledon, honestly, I don't know what the celebrations will be. You go absolutely crazy. Wimbledon have scored 15 goals in 8 games. They've conceded 13. They've won 3, drawn 3, and lost 2. I mean, do we really need to be that fearful? Like, Mikel, we should be all right. We should manage to get past Wimbledon. I can't lie. Big up to John Lay. I hope you're well, my bro. He said, Arteta talks waffle, man. We hear you, waffle, man. We want you gone. It's harsh. I have to admit, he creates great content for me because some of the stuff he comes out with is just insane, and the fact he says it with such a serious face that he actually believes all of it. You're like, yo, this guy is absolutely crazy, man. But yeah, Mikel Arteta, what a guy. The mighty Wimbledon tomorrow, people. And apparently we've got to be fearful of their goal threat, But yeah, people, smash the likes on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are out of here. We've been on for over an hour and 5 minutes now. I will be back tomorrow. I will probably do a show during the day, just a brief one if there is enough news to talk about. And we'll be doing a watch-along tomorrow night. I believe it's at 8 o'clock kickoff. Arsenal against Wimbledon. Hopefully we'll see some goals. And it's a 8:15 kickoff. So we'll be on from around 7:15. So if anybody wants to tune in, make sure you tune in for the watch-along. Thank you very much for tuning in. And apologise for the waffle, but it's all part of it. Mick Ross settings as usual. And listen, I will see you tomorrow, people. Enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe on your way out. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bless.